Welcome to Fundamentals of Nutrition. I'm Dr. Julie Lavender, and I will be your instructor for this course. I hope that you enjoy the semester, and I'd like to get you off to a good start by sharing the syllabus with you and just going through some key points that I really want you to pay attention to so that you can succeed and have a good semester. So let's get started with looking through your syllabus. If you have it handy, you might want to pull it out and go through it with me as I focus in on some of these areas. So page 1, pretty simple. You've got my name. My office is at the Kirtland Grayling location. I'm on the 2nd floor in the administrative suite. My office hours, generally I'm here 8 to 4. Usually I'm here before 8, and I'm here usually long after 4, but those are my general hours. I'm also available online and on weekends. Just have to contact me ahead of time and let me know when you'd like to meet, and I'll do my best to make those arrangements for you. I've got my phone number here as well. My extension is 298. The only caution I have with the phone is I'm not in my office all that much. It's usually best to get a hold of me by email. However, having said that, if phone works best for you, I will, if you leave a message, I will return the message, or if you email me and say you would like me to call you and tell me what time, I will do my best again to do that for you as well. You've got my email address here handy for you. The course description, that's just taken straight out of the college catalog. Your learning outcomes, so by the end of this course, hopefully you will be able to use the information you learn about nutrients to develop a healthy diet plan for yourself, or if you're going into healthcare, for your patients. Also, you'll be able to analyze the role of diet and exercise in health and disease. And then finally, be able to explain the requirements of some special populations for specific nutrients. So we'll be looking at nutrition in general to start with, and then we're going to focus in and look at nutrition as it relates to certain disease conditions in the body, and also in special populations such as children, pregnant women, the elderly. There is no required text for the course that you have to purchase. There is this book here, An Introduction to Nutrition. I've got a link to the PDF in the course itself, so you can pull it up electronically and view it that way and do your readings if you're okay with that on your computer. However, I know some students do like a hard printed copy. If that's the case for you, please just contact me and I will make arrangements through the bookstore to get that ordered for you, and they will let you know how much it costs. It's not real expensive. It's just a simple print that they do in our print shop here at Kirtland. I'll also be using several other online resources throughout the course, but I provide those to you as you need them. So there is no requirement to purchase anything for this course. You will need to use either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, anything that's compatible with Canvas, because all the course materials will be run through Canvas. Important information for you to know regarding financial aid. Hopefully all of you are in this course from now until the day it finishes, and that you're all successful. However, if the course doesn't work out for you, some things to know is that the last day to drop, and that's the day to drop and get a refund of your money, is January 25th. The last day to withdraw, you do not get any financial aid or refunding of money, but the last day to withdraw is April 5th. So if for some reason things aren't working out for you and you don't want to end up with a grade that you might not want, you can submit for a withdrawal at that date. Make sure that you are meeting all the requirements of the course, that you are fully participating so that you're demonstrating attendance. Otherwise, I may have to report to financial aid if you're not participating and attending course, so to speak, for an online course. Any questions about those dates, let me know. You'll also have reminders from me, and in Canvas, we send out a general announcement to all students just to remind you when those dates are coming up. Okay, so now let's look at pages 2 and 3, and this one always seems to be very important for students, and that's the grading scale. I have a pretty typical grading scale that you'll see in most of the classes. Some students question this, sometimes they get confused, and then they're surprised at the end what their grade is. So just in general, 95 or above is going to be an A. 90 to 94.9 is an A minus. So that is whatever your final grade calculates out to be. And in terms of rounding up, if you have a 90 it's right here very specifically, 94.9. So if it was 94.95, I would round that up to a 95. If it's 94.44, then that's going to be a 90, that's going to be the A- range. And then it's the same for all of the other grades. The grade distribution is just to show you how the various discussions, assignments, quizzes, exams all contribute to your final grade. So discussions and assignments are a total of 350 points for 35% of your grade. That's approximate, and I group discussions and assignments together because some weeks you have more discussions, some weeks you have more assignments. There are some weeks that just don't lend themselves to discussion, so I'll replace a discussion with an additional assignment. But the total stays the same, 350 points. Quizzes are worth 150 points total, so that's 15% of your grade. Exams, there are 3 exams worth 100 points each, so that's 30% of your grade. And then there's a final paper. That's really the big project in this class. We don't have a final exam due the last week of class, but there is a final paper that's worth 20% of your grade. So I'm giving you right now the rubric for your final paper so you can see exactly what is expected of you. I'm trying something new this semester. I haven't done it with other students, and so hopefully you will find it helpful to you. But you'll see the first criteria here on the rubric is a self-evaluation submitted with your paper. So I'm going to have you go through this rubric yourself, grade yourself, and turn that rubric and the grade in with your final paper. So I can see what you're thinking, how you did on the paper. Annotated bibliography, and that will be explained a little bit later on. That's worth 20 points. Your full description of the topic, and it goes into details here. That's where most of your points are going to come from, as well as the relationship to nutrition. Obviously, this is a nutrition class. So I highly recommend that you look for a topic that's going to have a relationship with nutrition. Some students in the past have tried to pick a different topic just because they liked it, but then they weren't able to really meet this criterion for the rubric, and then they lose points in that area. Some additional information is medical and non-medical treatments, and what I'm talking about non-medical could be like an herbal therapy or a physical therapy exercise other than nutrition, because obviously you've covered nutrition already in the previous section. Prevention of the disease, completely identify all preventable measures if it is something that can be prevented. Again, try to think about these criteria when you pick your topic. If you don't have anything to put in this section, if all you write is, this cannot be prevented, it's going to be really hard to earn the points that you should earn for that section. Spelling and grammar, they're important, but they're not as important as some other things, but they are worth 10 points, as well as using the APA format for your bibliography and for your citations. And then peer-reviewed professional references. I give a little more points for this because it's really important to me that you are using peer-reviewed scientific journals. And if you're not sure what that is, please contact the library. There's a reference librarian, others there that can help you. They know what this means. We're talking scientific journals. So for me, I'm a nurse. It would be the American Journal of Nursing or some other nursing journal. It would not be Wikipedia, something from the newspaper, something from Time magazine. I'm just trying to think of some topics off some other types of information that are not peer-reviewed professional scientific resources. So make sure you look for that when you're searching on your topic as well. Classroom discussion, disruption, and netiquette. I don't expect this to be a problem. I've never had a problem in one of my online courses. However, we do need to address it. So when you're taking a course online, I expect you to communicate effectively and respectfully. This is especially true when you're doing discussions with your classmates and when you're contacting me through email or some other form of communication, that you are being respectful. To do those things, you need to read, listen carefully, actively participate in the course. It is an online course, but your active participation is expected. Examples of online disruptive behavior are things like inappropriate or disrespectful communication and not following instructions. Attendance is not recorded because this is an online course. However, attendance is calculated based on your participation in the course. You are expected to fully participate every week in the discussions, the assignments, the quizzes, and exams. Lack of participation, as I mentioned earlier, can impact your financial aid disbursement. So please make sure you are attending, fully participating in the course. Communication, I've already mentioned how you can get a hold of me. As I said, email is best. However, I will make arrangements for phone calls if that works for you. I can also do video chats. I'm going to try to do a little more video follow-up for this course. So after quizzes, for instance, I'm going to follow up with a video to go through each of the quiz questions, make sure you understand the answers and why they are the correct answers. There are multiple teaching methods that I use in this course. Discussions, audio-visual presentations, web enhancements. I use a lot of videos. There is some group work. I know students sometimes don't like group work. However, that is something that future employers look for, and so group work is going to be important for you as well. Late work is not accepted in this course. I apologize if that's something you expect or you've come to expect with other instructors, but it is something that I do not accept. All assignments need to be submitted on time in order to receive credit. This is helping you to get used to some of the expectations of future employers or possibly some future classes as well. When you have a job, you're expected to be on time. Likewise, when you have a class, you're expected to submit assignments on time. You've got ample opportunity. You have a week to complete your assignments. Some of them you're given, for instance, your final paper, I will open up early so that you will have a lot of time to be working on that. If there is an emergency that comes up and you're absolutely unable to do the work you need to do, you will need to contact me before the due date and let me know. Depending on what the circumstances are, I might be able to work something out for you. But as I said, just do your work on time and you won't have any difficulties. Okay, let's go to the next pages, 4 and 5. So these two pages start with the weekly agenda. I recommend for you that you print these, at least these 2 pages off, and use them as a checklist every week. Go down each one of these things and make sure that you're taking care of them. It also gives you a heads up as to what's coming the following week, what topics we're going to be looking at, so you can look in your book and based on the topic you can pretty much figure out what your readings are going to be, and then you can be prepared for assignments that are coming up as well. I'm a checklist kind of person, so this works for me to just go check, check, check as things are done. If that doesn't work for you, that's fine. You're not required to print it. It's just something helpful. So you can see here this first week basically is an orientation to the course and an orientation to the library and those resources. So you've got the Start Here quiz, which after you go through the syllabus and some of the other things, then you'll go in and take your Start Here quiz to make sure you understand the expectations of the course. There's a Who Are You discussion. I really enjoy that discussion. It's the first week of class. It's an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to your classmates, for me to introduce myself to you, and for me to get to know each one of you. I will respond to each of your postings for this week. So make sure you get in there. Discussions are always due on Wednesday, and that is how I set the due date. So classes generally, the first week they start on Monday and they end on Sunday, and I kind of keep that going for the whole semester. So Wednesday of the first week, you will have to post this discussion. The reason for that is because the final due date for discussions is that Sunday. But your classmates need time to respond to your post, and you need time to respond to your classmates, and so therefore the discussion needs to be started by Wednesday. That gives you a few more days after that to then interact with your classmates through the discussion board. So that will be due on Wednesday. The date on this one is wrong because I haven't corrected it yet, but I'm going back in and correcting that, and I will correct it on the syllabus that I add in. And then you can see every week there's pretty much discussions and assignments and quizzes, and you just go down the line. And then this week 4 is when your first annotated bibliography is due, and I will give you an explanation of that. I will give you a template. Basically, if you just fill in the template and you have the appropriate resources for your topic, this is all related to your final paper, you'll get the points on it. And again, then we've got discussion, assignment, and quiz, and then here's your first exam. You can see that it's in week 5. It will be due on Monday. I like to give students one extra day for exams so that you have all week to work on your discussion, your assignment, your quiz, and then you get an extra day if you need it to take your exam. Again, the following week, discussion, assignment, quiz, and then week 8, again, your annotated bibliography is due there as well. Doesn't mean you can't get it all done the first time they're due and have them ready anytime to submit, but that's when you're going to have to turn them in to me. And then you've got another week of discussion, assignment, quiz, and then here we are in week 10 is exam 2. So you can see that's due on April 1st. No, it's not going to be an April Fool's. Your exam really will be due on April 1st. Okay, and then continuing along, down here on week 12, I expect you to have a rough draft ready. This is placed here for your benefit to be prepared for your final paper. You can see there's no points assigned. However, if you want me to review your rough draft prior to turning your final paper in, you will need to submit the rough draft week 12. If you try to submit it to me after week 12, I will not get to it. So you need to have it done by then, and then I will get feedback to you and you can use that for your final paper. Okay, week 14 is going to be a pretty busy week for you. You've got discussion, assignment, quiz, and then you've got exam 3. So that'll be your final exam for the class, and your final paper will be due. And again, remember that final paper is worth 200 points. You've got the rubric to follow, so you should get maximum points. And then in the last week, pretty simple, our discussion is going to be a virtual poster presentation. So you're going to make a poster based on the topic from your final paper using the information on your paper. So you've already got the information, you just need to put it together in a poster, and then you're going to post that in the discussion. And then I want each of you to look at each other's posters and give some feedback. So it's like going to a live poster presentation where you would walk around and talk to presenters. This time it's virtual. And then your final presentation of your paper. So you're going to turn that poster in for your assignment as well as doing your discussion. Ethical conduct is expected in the class, and really I will let you read through this. The bottom line is do your own work. So no cheating, no plagiarism, no dishonesty. Just do your own work and we'll be fine and you'll get the grades that you earn. Plagiarism is a big deal though, as well as cheating. If I suspect any of that, you will receive a 0 on your assignment. If it's plagiarism, you may be sent to what we call plagiarism traffic school so that you can get a better understanding of what plagiarism is, and then you can have the opportunity to resubmit your assignment for some points. So I highly encourage you to read through this section, make sure you understand what each of those terms mean so that we don't have any of these issues in the class. Okay, we are getting there, down to pages 6 and 7. So continuation of plagiarism traffic school and what that means. And then if you want to look at our policy on student rights and responsibilities, I've provided the link to that here. Class cancellations sometimes happen, especially in the winter semester. It's not really a big deal for you as an online student, but I leave this in the syllabus because some of you also have face-to-face classes. So just a reminder of how you're going to receive your notifications. But also, some students will ask, so if class is canceled, what does that mean for us online? Online, it has no impact. If class is canceled, we continue on with what we're doing because we're online. You don't have to come in, and I can manage the class from home. If you need any technical or instructional support in this class, the information is included for you here. So ITS, and it gives you some examples of why you would contact ITS. If you're having issues with single sign-on or your password, your Kmail, Microsoft 365, that's the people to contact. The Center for Teaching and Learning is available to help you with Canvas errors, using a tablet for online learning, the Intro to Canvas orientation, file uploads, anything directly related to Canvas, you should contact the CTL. I've also included the library information here. You should be utilizing the services of the library in this course, in particular for that final paper and poster presentation. The librarians are there to help you. They want to help you, so please contact them and get assistance. They can help you with all of these various things. They can help you choosing a topic, researching a topic, writing on your topic. They're there from beginning to end on your paper to help you. And then instructional assistance. If you need additional assistance for something else, you can't get it, contact me. I am your instructor. For you in this course, it's a little tricky because I'm also the Vice President of Instructional Services. I'm also the Dean of General Education. So you don't really have a dean to go to. However, I designate Steve Fosgard, the Dean of Occupational, to be the dean for students in this class. So if you come to me, you don't feel like your issue or your question is resolved with me, then I will send you to Mr. Fosgard and he will be the dean that you appeal to. Also, there's information here for tutoring. As an online student, you have access to tutoring as well. Depending on the assistance you need, they can make arrangements to do some online tutoring with you. If you do have a complaint about the instructor or about the course, here is the link right here to a form that you just fill it out, submit it, and then you will get a response. If you are a student with a documented disability, you will need to contact Disability Services at Kirtland, and they will make those arrangements that you need for your course. Sexual misconduct, all I'm going to say is it's not tolerated. There are forms of sexual misconduct online. If I see it happening in the online class, you will be reported, and it is not tolerated. So just make yourself familiar with this. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Again, I've never had any problems in my online classes. I don't want you to be the first one, okay? And then the statement of compliance, you know, that we do not discriminate against anyone based on race, color, religion, national origin, or ancestry, age, sex, disability, physical proportions, sexual orientation, marital status, or genetic information. So equal opportunity is what we like to say. And finally, we're up to the last page. Yay! Okay, so this page has core competencies that are met in this course. These 6 core competencies are in the college catalog. They were written by faculty, and they are the expectations of our students who graduate with a degree from Kirtland. We expect you, when you graduate, to meet each of these competencies. So to be able to communicate effectively and professionally, personal growth and responsible citizenship, technology, being able to use technology, critical thinking and problem-solving skills, working productively, and then using systems and processes. So these assignments will be tagged. So you will see at the end of your rubric with the grading, you will see something that talks about this competency, communications. So for instance, in the final paper, we're looking at communication, technology, research and information literacy, as well as systems and processes. So I will be evaluating your achievement of these core competencies, whether I feel like you're beginning to understand them, whether I feel like you've mastered them, or whether you've exceeded mastery. It does not count towards your grade. It does not impact you as a student in any way. It's really for us as a college, as an instructor in a course, to understand if we are teaching you appropriately so that you are meeting these competencies. If you have any questions on them, feel free to contact me. But as I said, they don't impact your grade in any way. So that is it for the syllabus. Again, I want to welcome you to Fundamentals of Nutrition. I really do hope you enjoy the course. There is a lot of work. I've heard some rumors that students say this is a hard class. I'm going to tell you it's not a hard class, but it is a time-consuming class. There is a good amount of work. There's quite a bit of reading, and then the discussions and the assignments. The exams are tough. You have to study for them. I don't provide study guides per se, step by step, But I'll give you a little information, and as I said, I'm going to do a review on each quiz to make sure you understand that information. If you keep up with the work, if you do all the work the way, follow the directions, do what's expected of you, it will not be a hard class, and you should do very well. Again, I ask that you please contact me at any time in the course. If you don't understand an assignment, you don't know what I'm asking for, if you don't understand a grade that you received, please contact me and I'll be happy to provide an explanation for you. Thank you very much.